What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So I have a really good video to show you guys today. We're going to be talking about Social Security. We're going to be talking about the 4-point plan that President Biden has. So President Biden has had this 4-point plan since 2020. And so we are going to revisit it. There was an article put out by Motley Fool where they were talking about this 4-point plan. So that's what we're going to focus on in this video. Now, at the very end of this video, I want you to grade how you feel about this plan. So grade President Biden, just like we've been doing the grades. I'm going to do it a little different this time. You guys are actually going to grade in the comments first, and then I'll have another video, a follow-up video, and then I will put my grade and your grade as well. So that's what we're focusing on in this video. But first off, if you guys can do me a favor, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that little bell notification, and then click all. By clicking all, you'll get notified anytime we post a video. We do daily videos, so by clicking the bell notification, clicking all, you should be getting updated every day. And just a reminder, thank you guys all for your support. I really appreciate it. And if you want to, you can follow me on Twitter at the TEC Show Live. Okay, so I am back home. You guys probably didn't even know I was gone. I had a few videos that I already had set up, so I played those videos for you guys the last few days. But I was at a video conference, and now I've returned, so we're going to get back to talking a little bit more about what's going on with Social Security, what's going on, Social Security reform, Social Security increase. We're going to be talking a little bit about all of that in the coming days. But today, I want to talk about this 4-point plan. So let me pull this up first so we can take a look here. So this is the 4-point plan, President Biden's 4-point plan. Now, look at the headline here. This is interesting, right? The grim reality of Joe Biden's 4-point plan to change Social Security. Okay, so the grim reality. So at the very end of this article, we'll talk a little bit more about this, but the grim reality is this possible? Is it possible for them to do this? Do they have the money to have this implemented? So let's take a look at this 4-point plan first, and then we'll talk a little bit about it. But when it comes to a 4-point plan, as we scroll down here, the first part of President Biden's 4-point plan is the payroll tax for higher earners. Okay, so reinstate the payroll tax for higher earners. Now, we've talked about this on this channel before. Now, the main reason that we talked about it before is because the Social Security 2100 Act has this same provision, as well as Senator Bernie Sanders' $2,400 raise for Social Security has this provision. However, President Biden's proposal is a little bit different than Senator Bernie Sanders, but it is the same plan as the Social Security 2100. So Representative Larson's plan, it's the same as President Biden's. And so that's why when I'm talking about Senator Bernie Sanders' plan, the reality is it's not going to go anywhere because of this provision. This provision, President Biden has already indicated he's not raising taxes on anyone making less than $400,000. And so because of that, Senator Bernie Sanders' plan is off the table. So let's go ahead and take a look at what he wants to do here. So $400,000, this is the key here. Now, we know how this all works when it comes to the payroll tax. So you pay into the payroll tax. When you're working, you're paying into the payroll tax. 6.2% you pay, and then 6.2% your employer pays. That goes to the Social Security Administration, and that money is sent out to people who are currently receiving benefits. And they're also taking money from the trust fund in order to give you 100% of your benefits. Okay, so right now it's about 77% is coming from the payroll tax right now. Okay, so what President Biden wants to do is he wants to make a change, because right now, the way the system is set up, if you make $160,200, anything over that, you no longer have to pay into the payroll tax. So you pay up until that amount. Now, what he wants to do, what President Biden wants to do, is he wants to have, there's going to be kind of a donut hole. That's the way they explain it here. And so anyone making $160,200 to $400,000, you don't have to pay into the payroll tax. However, once you reach $400,000, you're going to have to pay into the payroll tax again. Okay, so that's what this would do. So it would make the higher earners have to pay into the payroll tax again. So that's the first thing. That's the first plan there. Now, the second thing that he wants to do is he wants to change the consumer price index for wage earners to the consumer price index for the elderly. Okay, so making that change. This is not going to be a large increase, but it will be a difference, right? Because elderly people spend differently. And so what they do is they have the shopping cart. They have all the same items in the shopping cart. However, the percentages are different. And so, for example, the CPIE would weigh healthcare heavier than the CPIW. So that's how they would do that. So that would give you an incremental increase in your benefits. And so that would be the second point to President Biden's plan. Now, the third point here, he wants to bolster the special minimum benefit. Okay, so if you didn't know, there is a minimum benefit, and that minimum benefits after 30 years of work. Let's say you're working in a job and you're a low wage job. So the minimum that you can receive after 30 years is $1,033.50, okay, per month. What he wants to do is he wants to raise that, because right now that's below the poverty line. And so in order to be at the poverty line right now, you would need $1,215 per month. Okay, so obviously that is well below the poverty line. And so what President Biden wants to do is he wants to raise it to 125% of the poverty line. And so the current in 2023, that would mean $1,518.75. So that would be an automatic boost to those people who are below the poverty line right now. So that would be good for people receiving Social Security. So that is the third point. Now, the fourth point, he wants to lift payouts for aged beneficiaries. Okay, so what that would mean is as you get older, you would receive an increase, an aggregate increase of 5%. It would start at 78 and it would end at 82. Okay, and so that's what he wants to do as well. So, and all of this. This is the same as Representative Larson's plan. Representative Larson's plan has all of this in place, and it goes a little step further. Okay, so it has some other provisions in there as well, especially the COLA increase, the 2% increase across the board for COLA. So not only would they change the CPIW, as we were talking about earlier, the CPIW, not only would they change the CPIW to the CPIE, but you would also get a 2% across the board increase. Okay, now that's the good news. The bad news is, according to some economists right now, they're looking at this and they're saying this wouldn't work financially, and it would only last for about 5 years is what they're saying. And this is somewhat like the Social Security 2100 Act. It would sunset. So you would get a good 5 years out of this, and then after that, you're going to have to figure out where to go next, right? Now, what I'm thinking when it comes to a proposal like this is a good way to negotiate, because you can say, look, we're going to try this out for 5 years. Let's see if it works. If it works, then we can talk about extending it. But if it doesn't work, then we can try something else, is basically what we would probably see. And so because it's only 5 years, yes, the money is not there in order for this to go further than 5 years, but it would at least give some politicians, some of these lawmakers that are saying, well, it's just too much money and we don't even know if it's going to work. Is it going to really bring people out of poverty and all of that? Well, you can say, we can do it for 5 years. And then after that, then we can revisit it and see about moving forward. That's how you pull some of the, let's say, middle of the road Republicans that they might go for some type of an increase for Social Security, but if you made it like Senator Bernie Sanders' plan is 75 years or whatever he's saying. And so if you make a commitment for 75 years, that's a huge commitment to make as far as voting. But if you say in 5 years we'll revisit it, that's a way to actually get some of these lawmakers to come on board. So we'll have to see what happens in the future. Now, when it comes to President Biden, he put this out in 2020. And I want you guys to grade. In the comments, let me know what you think his letter grade should be. But he put this out in 2020. Is he aggressively pushing for this? In my opinion, he's not aggressively pushing for this. Just like, you see Representative Larson out there with the Social Security 2100 Act. He's talking a lot about this. He continues to talk about this. Even Senator Bernie Sanders, he will talk about his plan. But when it comes to President Biden, no one really knows what his plan is because he doesn't really talk enough about it. And so he might say here and there, he might say, yeah, you know what, I'm in favor of a raise for Social Security and things like that. But he is not aggressively pushing for this. And he did have an opportunity back in 2021 and 2022 to move forward with some type of increase for Social Security or Social Security reform, because Congress was run by Democrats. So he had an opportunity. They might have had to do something drastic like a reconciliation bill or something, but I would penalize him for not making Social Security priority number one when he had the opportunity to do that. But I want to know what you guys think, so let me know in the comments below. So let me know the letter grade that you think he should get, and then I will do a follow-up video. I'll let you know what I think the letter grade is, as well as I'll compare his plan to the other plans that are out there right now. If you guys have any other questions, let me know down below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Happy weekend, and I'll talk to you in the next one.